Chapter 13. The circle of men got very quiet. The younger guys looked like they wanted to laugh but were afraid to, and the Jimmy guy and the man who must be my father were looking at me that way grown-ups do when they're getting ready to give you some bad news or when they're trying to decide which hand they're going to smack you upside the head with. Finally, Jimmy snapped his fingers and said, "Hold on now. Is your name Bud?" He knew my name. I said, "Yes, sir." Jimmy said, "Herman, don't you see? This has something to do with that crazy telegram you got this morning." He looked back at me. "And you said you're from Flint, Bud?" "Yes, sir. That's right. That's right where I'm from." Herman E. Calloway said, "What in Sam Hill is going on here? First off, don't you be coming in here accusing folks of being your father. And second off, where is your mother?" Shucks. He said it like he didn't already know. I said, "She's dead, sir. She died 4 years ago." Herman E. Calloway said, "I'm truly sorry to hear that, but it's obvious that you are a disturbed young man and you don't have a clue who your father is. You just tell us who's looking after you now and we'll get you sent back to wherever it is you belong." "I belong with you now, sir." Herman E. Calloway said, "Now you look here." Jimmy said, "Hold on, Herman." He seemed a lot nicer than this Calloway guy. "But you got to understand, Mr. Calloway here can't be your daddy. No how, no way, nuh-uh. I don't know what gave you that idea, but whatever, we've got to get you back home. Someone in Flint's got to be worried sick about you." I said, "No, sir. I don't have nobody left in Flint. That's why I came all the way here." He said, "No one? No one at all?" I said, "No, sir." He said, "No brothers?" "No, sir." "No sisters?" "No, sir." "What about an auntie?" "No, sir." "No grandma?" "No, sir." Shucks, it looked like this guy was going to go over my whole family tree, but he whistled and said, "So, were you living in an orphanage?" Uh-oh. I had to be careful how I answered this. One wrong answer, and I could tell that these guys were ready to give me up to the cops or give me a one-way ticket back to the home. I said, "Well, sir, I had some problems with some folks that were supposed to be looking after me, and after I hid their shotgun and poured water all over Todd Amos, I busted out of the shed and had to go on the lam. And then I thought it was about time I came and met my father because it's been—" He raised his hand to stop me. "That's fine, son, but just answer what I asked you. What orphanage were you in?" "Well, sir, I used to be in a home, and then I wasn't, and then I was with some people that were kind of mean, and then I tried to find Miss Hill, but she moved all the way to Chicago, and that was too far to walk, so—" He raised his hand again to shut me up. "Hold on, Bud. Do me a favor. Go wait by that door for a minute." He pointed to the side of the stage. I walked over and waited to see what was going to happen. I tried pushing the door open a little bit in case I had to make a quick escape, but it was jammed tight. I'd have to leave out of the same door I came in. The man named Jimmy and the guy who had to be my daddy started whispering. After a while, Herman E. Calloway raised his arms and said, "Hey, but don't forget, this is your little red wagon. You pull it if you want." Jimmy said, "Fair enough." He waved me back onto the stage. "Bud," he said, "you look like you might be a little hungry, so I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're all done rehearsing and we're about to head over to the Sweet Pea. You're invited to come along under one condition." "What, sir?" "Once you get something in your belly, you've got to be straight with me. You've got some explaining to do. We'll feed you, but you've got to tell us the truth. Do we have a deal?" He stuck his hand out for me to shake, but I wanted to know what I was getting myself into. "What's the Sweet Pea, sir?" "Best restaurant in Grand Rapids. Is it a deal?" I don't know how grown-ups can tell I'm always so doggone hungry, but I sure wasn't going to turn down getting my very first real restaurant food. I grabbed his hand and made sure I gave it a hard squeeze, like Mama told me to, and said, "Yes, sir. Thank you, sir." He smiled. No problem. Herman E. Calloway said, "Well, James, like I said, if he's going to be doing some explaining, it's got to be to you. I don't need to listen to this scamp's nonsense whilst I'm trying to digest my supper." He stuck a pipe that wasn't lit into his mouth and walked off the stage. Shucks. If my father had to be so doggone old, I was starting to wish that Lefty Lewis or this Jimmy guy were him. Herman E. Calloway seemed like he was going to be hard to get along with.